Hello everybody and welcome to Math. Anyway, this is going to be the review of the multiplication unit in our grade 5 math textbook. Alright, so I have a bunch of the questions ready for us. I'm just going to whip through them. So if you feel like I'm going too fast, you can pause the video at any time so you can catch up and write along with me. If you feel like I'm going too slow, I really apologize. I'm writing kind of around and through my camera tripod, so there's going to be a little bit of jostling, and I'll do my best to make this not so much like pulling teeth and more like fun, which it probably won't be, I'll be honest. But at least it'll get the job done and you will know what you're doing. Here we go. Let's get started. Here we go with our first question in our multiplication chapter concepts. Just a side note, as the instructions say at the top, we're not going to use any straight multiplication for any of the questions unless it asks us to. That means that every question is asking us to do something with the multiplication problem. Also, we're going to make sure we show our work, we're going to explain what we do, and we're going to write a concluding sentence for every single question. All right, let's get going. The first one is, what smaller multiplication facts can you use to help you solve 16 times 2? So that means that your answer cannot include 16 because you're not breaking it down then. You have to find numbers that can make up 16 or can make up the answer for 16 times 2. So we can break 16 into half. So half of 16 is 8. And 8 times 2 equals 16. So if I need to have two 16s, I can just do that again. So 8 times 2 equals 16. Now I have my two 16s, and all I have to do is add them together to get my answer. So 6 plus 6 is 12, carry the 1, and the answer is 32. Another way we can break this down is we can do 4 times 4 equals 16. And then that's our first 16. We have to have another one. So 4 times 4 again. And again, we add them up. So far we found two different multiplication facts that we can use. And also we can switch it up. So we could have a 4 times 4 plus an 8 times 2, because both of them are still 16. And they still both answer to 32. So this is how this question is done. You can do 8 times 2. Obviously, the inverse of that, 2 times 8, is also okay. So there's also 2 times 8. Oops. Let's make that into an 8. And then same with 4 times 4 inverted is still 4 times 4. So remember, any multiplication table that you do, if you reverse the number, it still comes out to the same answer. 2 times 8 or 8 times 2. Either way, it's still 16. So this is how you can use smaller multiplication facts to help you figure out the bigger number. So for our concluding sentence, we're going to write something like, I can use facts like 4 times 4 or 8 times 2 to help me figure out what 16 times 2 is. The answer is 32. So now we have a complete question, and we're ready to go on to the next one. All right. Our next question is, how can you use 6 times 9 equals 54 to calculate 6 times 8? Well, I know that 6 times 8 and 6 times 9 are part of my 6 times tables. So I'm going to go ahead and write that down because I'm explaining what my thought process is. So, therefore, if I know what 6 times 9 is, I know that all I have to do is take away one group of 6, and I go down to my 6 times 8 times table. So then we're going to show our work. So if we have 6 times 9 equals 54, we're going to take 6 away from that 54. I can't take 6 away from 4, so I'm going to borrow, and I can take away 6 from 14, and then nothing from 4 is 4. So if 6 times 9 equals 54, then 6 times 8 is 48. That's our concluding sentence, and I should be putting a capital at the beginning of my sentence. There we go. So we've explained our thought process, we've shown our math, and we've written a concluding sentence. We will go down to the next one. A gnat beats its wings about 1,000 times in a second. What does 2 times 1,000 equal 2,000 describe about the gnat's wing beats? So for this one, it doesn't have any math to show because it's giving me the math already. I need to show what the relation is between this and this. So if 1,000 beats occur or happen in 1 second, I know that 2,000 is twice as much as 1,000. So 2,000, is the number, can't spell number, we'll try again, of beats that happen in twice as much time. The gnat's wings beat 2,000 times in 2 seconds. All right, down to the next one. A quarter is worth 25 cents. What is the value of 40 quarters? Use halving and doubling to figure out your answer. All right, so the first thing we have to do is decide which number are we going to halve and which number are we going to double. 25 cents is very difficult to half. You can't do it evenly. So I am going to choose to half the 40. 40 is an even number. It's easy to half. So I'm going to write that out. $40 halved is 20. Because I halved 40, I know I must double 25. 25 doubled is 50. Now I get to do my math. This whole part is just my explanation. I'm explaining my thought process. Very important. So now we have the 20 that we've halved and the 50 that we've doubled, and we're going to multiply those. So 20 times 50. Now, because this one's digit is a 0, we can skip doing it all together and move straight to the 5. But in order to do that, as soon as we skip to the next column, we have to put a 0 down here as a placeholder. So that placeholder is going to represent our 0, our ones column. And now we can start multiplying our 5. So 5 times 0 is 0. 5 times 2 is 10. And that's our answer. Therefore, $40 are worth 1,000 cents. If you wanted to, you could also add or $10. All right, we're almost done the first page. Here's our last question on the first page. A hotel has 39 windows on each floor. The hotel has 7 floors. How can you use rounding to help you figure out an exact answer? First, what we're going to do is we're going to round one of our numbers. The easiest one to round is 39 because it's very close to 40, so our answer will be almost what we need it to be. So I'm going to round 39 to 40. So I'm going to do that now. I'm going to make 39 into 40, and I'm going to keep 7 the same. I only need to round one number. And I'm going to multiply 7 floors by 40 windows per floor. So 7 times 0 is 0. 7 times 4 is 28. Okay, so we have 280. But that gives us a number that's about correct. This is asking us for an exact answer. So what have we really done here? When we brought 39 up to 40, we've added an extra 7 windows basically, because we've times that by 7. We have our 40 times 7. So we have 40 groups of 7 instead of only 39 groups of 7. That means there's an extra group of 7. So we have to take away those extra 7 windows from our rounding. So now we have our 280 windows, and we're going to subtract 7 windows from that. We can't take 7 away from 0, we have to borrow. 10 take away 7 is 3, and then you take nothing away from the 7, you take nothing away from the 2, and this is the exact number of windows. So now I have to explain what I did. So I'm going to round 39 to 40. We did that. Then I have to take away the extra group of 7 windows. Okay, so now I have explained my thought process. I've shown my math. I still have to write a concluding sentence. So, the hotel will have exactly 273, oops, I forgot a word, windows. There we go. Page 1 is done. Great job so far, guys. Take a breath and we'll start on page 2. All right, here we are with page 2. So the top of page 2 has a 3-part question. It's 6, A, B, and C. So that should tell you right away that all of those numbers are related to each other somehow. All right, so the first part is, if you're going to buy 3 video games for $84 each, why would you estimate high by multiplying 3 times 90 instead of rounding down to 80 like you normally would? Estimate about how much the 3 games would cost in all. So this time we're not showing an exact number, we are estimating, and it says about. So when we get our answer, we don't have to do any extra fancy steps like we did with the last one. So use common sense for this one. If you were going to buy something, why would you round up instead of rounding down? Yes, the 84 has a 4, and usually if it's less than 5, you round down. If it's above 5, or if it is 5, you round up. But we're actually going to round up because when you're going to make a purchase in a store, you don't want to round down and then not have enough when you get there. If you round up, you're going into that store knowing that you've got too much money to buy your product, which means that you will have enough money. So that's what we're going to explain. So I would round up to $90 to make sure that I have enough to buy the 3 games. Now, that's my thought process. Now I have to show the math. So I'm going to round 84 up to 90, and I'm multiplying it by the 3 games because each one costs about 90. So here we go. 3 times 0 is 0. 3 times 9 is 27. So the 3 games are going to cost us about $270. And I'm going to put my unit of measurement in there. So now we do our concluding sentence. The 3 games will cost about $270. Awesome. Now the next part, I'm just going to move up the page so you can see both of the next parts here. Okay. So the next part says use straight multiplication. Woohoo, we get to use straight multiplication to figure out the exact cost of the 3 games. So this time we're not going to round. We're just going to use the numbers from the last question that it gave us. So there are 3 video games, and we are going to multiply them by the $84 that they actually cost. So 3 times 4 is 12, carry the 1. 3 times 8 is 24, plus 1, 25. So before I write my conclusion, I have to explain my thought process. So what did I actually do? all I did was used multiplication. I multiplied the amount of money for each game by the number of games. That's my thought process. The conclusion, after I do my math, is all 3 games would cost $252. Now I've got my conclusion. All right. Now the next part, C, is there's 15 cents of sales tax on every dollar spent. Use straight multiplication to find out how much the tax will come to. So what we need now is we need to use this exact number we got from the last question. We know that it's going to cost us $252 for the games. All right, so we're going to put our $252, and 15 cents is a decimal. So there's no whole dollars here. It is decimal 15 cents, and we're going to multiply that. So I'm actually going to move my question up here so that you can see better. So I'm just going to rewrite it up here so I have more space. 252 times 0.15. So every time I write 2 digits down here, I'm going to add my decimal in so my decimals line up. So I have 5 times 2 is 10. 5 times 5 is 25, 26. 5 times 2 is 10, 11, 12. And I need to put my decimal after 2 places. And now I can move over to the next column. When I do that, I have to add my placeholder 0. I've got my 0 here for my placeholder. I'm moving over to 1. 1 times 2 is 2. 1 times 5 is 5. 1 times 2 is 2. Now I just add it up. And I still have my decimals here after 2 places. So 0 plus 0 is 0. 6 plus 2 is 8. 5 plus 2 is 7. And 1 plus 2 is 3. So I'm going to add my dollar sign here. So that's my unit of measurement that I used. So I've got here to explain what I did. So what I did is I multiplied the total cost of the games with 15 cents tax. So there are 252 groups of 15 cents. So here I'm going to write my explanation. I multiplied $252 by 15 cents. And then for my concluding sentence, I'm going to add that the tax on the 3 games will be $37.80. All right, here we go. On to the next one. Look at that beautiful base 10 array. All right, we're going to complete the base 10 array. So the first thing that we have to do is make a list of all of the units, the base 10 units that we see here. So the ones that are flat, the big squares that are flat, are 100. So I'm going to say that this is one group of 100. So 1 times 100. And there's another one. This is also 1 times 100. Now these rods here, these are the 10 rods. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. And we have 1, 2, 3 10 rods. So 3 times 10. Down here we have 2 more 10 rods. So 2 times 10. And here we have another 1, 2. 2 times 10. And down at the bottom we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So we have 6 groups of 1. So now that we figured out what's part of this base 10 array, now we need to add up all of our numbers. So here we go. We have 1 times 100. Then we have another 1 times 100. Then we have 3 times 10. Then we have 2 times 10. Another 2 times 10. And our last one is 6 times 1. So now we're going to figure out all of our totals here. So 1 times 100 is 100. 1 times 100 is 100. And I'm going to line up my digits so that my 1s are lined up, my 10s are lined up, and my 100s are lined up. 3 times 10 is 30. 2 times 10 is 20. 2 times 10, we just figured that out, is 20. 6 times 1 is 6. And I'm going to add all of these together. So all of these zeros plus 6 is 6. We have 2 plus 2 is 4. 4 plus 3 is 7. And 1 plus 1 is 2. There we go. So the answer is there are 276 units in all. So I'm going to put down my statement. There are 276 units in all. Now I still haven't described what I've done here. So I'm going to go back up to the top and I'm going to say, first I counted the groups of units. Then I multiplied to find out how many were in each group. Then I added my totals together. There we go. That one is done. That is a base 10 array. The next one, the last one on the sheet, is a regular array. We're going to use graph paper for that. The question is, a movie theater has 23 rows of seats, and there are 18 seats per row. How many people can fit into the theater to see the movie? Okay, so the numbers we're working with are 23 rows and 18 seats. Okay, so I've switched to a red pen just so you can see the color better. So I'm going to start counting 23 rows. So I'm going to put a spot just where I can start here. And I'm going to start counting 23 rows. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23. So that's 23 right there. I'm going to connect those together. Okay, now I've got to go. I'm just going to move this up so you can see both parts. And you're not going to be able to. So I'm going to pan back just a bit here. There we go. So now I'm going to count sideways our other number, 18. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18. And there's our other corner. So I'm going to connect those. And then I can draw across here. What we're going to do is we're going to close up our box. Now I stopped a little bit short of where I thought it was going to be, so I didn't go over. There we go. So this is our 18 seats, and this is our 23 seats. Those are our numbers that we're working with. I'm going to move that up so you can see. There we go. So I've just drawn an 18 down here and a 23 over here. So now this is our array. Okay, you get a point for counting the seats right. So now what we're going to do is we're going to start breaking up this array into manageable, easy timetables for us. So my class really likes using 10 timetables. They're very easy to multiply, so that's what we're going to do. We're going to start counting across 10 and up 10. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. There's our 10 mark. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Okay, so here is our, there's our 10. And we're going to label it so we don't forget what it is. 10 times 10. Our next one is also going to be 10. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. But it's not quite as wide, so we're going to have to see how big it is. So this is also 10. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. This is times 8. We're going to close our box. So we're going to do it again. We have enough room to do another 10. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Okay. And we're just going to close it up because we already know that's our right line. So this is another 10 times 10. And then we have another 10 by 8 here. So we know it's still 10 tall, and it's still the same width, so we know it's still times 8. Now here we have a little bit of a challenge. We can still carry on using 10 wide, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, but now it's only 1, 2, 3 high, so this is 10 times 3. And this one is going to be 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 8 times 1, 2, 3. So now we've broken up our array into manageable times tables. So now we have to start listing those times tables at the side. So we've got 10 times 3, 8 times 3, 10 times 10, 10 times 8, 10 times 10, and 10 times 8. So now we have to figure out all of our times tables here. I'm going to see if I can zoom in a little closer so you can see them a little better. Okay, I'm going to focus a little better. There you go. So here we go. We're going to start doing our multiplication. So 10 times 3 is 30. 8 times 3 is 27. No, it's not. 8 times 3 is 24. This is why we practice our multiplication. 10 times 10 is 100. 10 times 8 is 80. 10 times 10 is 100. 10 times 8 is 80. And I should have lined that up a bit better. So now what we're going to do is add them all together. So we have zeros and 4. We have 8 plus 8 is 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21. We put the 1 down and we carry the 2. So 2, 3, 4. And that's our total of seats. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go back to my other sheet now and write my concluding sentence. And I'm going to switch back to my pencil, because we always do our math in pencil if we can. So, the movie theater can fit 414 people in its seats. There we go. And that's basically it. You can describe, you can explain your system, what we did here. So we made an array. That was 18 across and 23 down. We broke up our array into smaller times tables. We multiplied and then added our products together. Oops, that's not how you spell products. I'm getting ahead of myself. To get the total number of seats. All right, one question left. That's the bonus question. Here is our bonus question. It says, well, use straight multiplication to see how much water comes out of a hose if it sprays 17 liters in 1 minute. How much water will it spray in a half an hour? Explain your answer. So this one, we get to use straight multiplication. So all we're going to do is we are going to say that I know there are 30 minutes in a half hour. I need to multiply the number of minutes oh, that's not how you spell minutes. I'm getting ahead of myself again. Math is so exciting. By the amount it sprays in 1 hour. Okay, now we get to do our math. So we're going to times our 17 liters by our 30 minutes. So I don't need to bother wasting time, taking the time to multiply 0 by 7 and 0 by 1 because the answer is 0. So I'm just going to put my placeholder down because I'm switching to my tens column. And I'm going to start here. So 3 times 7 is 21. I carry the 2. 3 times 1 is 3. Plus 2 is 5. So, and it's 510 liters. All right, so now all we have to do is write our concluding sentence. So, 510 liters of water will spray out of the hose in a half hour. Oops. Or you can also say 30 minutes, you know, either is fine. Both are correct. And that, in a nutshell, is a review of the multiplication unit in our math textbook. We are finito.